You may not like what you're about to hear, but it might save your life one day. So listen up. The last notification I got was a text from my little sister, the youngest of 4. It said, "Come quick. Someone's in the house." At the time, I was upstairs washing my hands after coming back from work. Then I heard it again, a distinct vibrating sound that could only mean one thing. It was my sister's phone. I recognized that song anywhere. My heart started racing. What was she playing? Why hadn't I heard it before? And why did he have a wild, almost predatory look in his eyes? A surge of fear, potent and primal, shot through me, propelling me backwards. As our eyes met, I saw a flicker of fear cross hers. But it wasn't fear for herself. It was fear for me. In that instant, I understood. My dad wasn't just holding a letter opener. It was a weapon. He wasn't just snarling. He was threatening. He wasn't just standing there. He was waiting. Waiting for what? I didn't know. I couldn't let him hurt her. I wouldn't let him if I could help it. But then something unexpected happened. My dad stopped. He paused in his relentless advance. And for the first time, a flicker of recognition crossed his eyes, where that glimmer was quickly extinguished, replaced by the cold, hard glint of steel. The letter opener rose again, reflecting the moonlight like a malevolent star. "Stay back," he snarled, his voice distorted, unfamiliar. We were trapped, cornered by the darkness that had descended upon us. I closed my eyes, bracing for the impact. But it never came. The door was ajar, revealing an empty bed. My heart skipped a beat. Had he taken her? Was she safe? I dashed out of the room, calling out for her, my voice echoing through the empty house. There was no reply, only the mocking echo of my own voice. "Sis, where are you?" I opened my eyes to find myself staring at the ceiling. I searched frantically, throwing open doors, tearing through rooms, desperate to find her, to make sure she was okay. But she was nowhere to be found. Then I saw it, a note lying on the floor where my sister's bed had been. I knelt beside it, my hands shaken, and unfolded the paper. Confused, I sat up, my heart pounding in my chest like a trapped bird. Where was he? Where was my sister? What had happened? Don't trust who's standing in the doorway. My blood ran cold. The words echoed the warning I had received, the one that had led me to this nightmarish scene. Had she known? Had she seen something? I didn't. And what was she talking about? What was the danger lurking in our midst? My dad reached out, his fingers outstretched, the letter opener glinting ominously between them. I understood now why she had sent me that text, why she had warned me. She'd been scared of what my dad had become, scared of the monster that had invaded our home, invaded our lives. "Don't come any closer," I warned, my voice shaken. But my words were lost in the cavernous space of our room, swallowed by the silence. It was fleeting, like a momentary lapse in a storm, but it was enough. And in that moment of uncertainty, my blood ran cold. I had to find her, had to confront whatever danger had befallen my dad and by extension our entire family. I just didn't know where to start. Maybe it wasn't too late. Maybe I could still reach him, pull him back from the brink of whatever had overtaken him. "Dad," I began, my voice hoarse with disuse, unsure if I should approach him or stay where I was. All I could do was watch as he advanced, each step bringing him closer, the letter opener becoming a harbinger of doom in his hand. I pulled my sister behind me, forming a protective barrier with my body. I knew it wasn't logical, that I couldn't protect her from the man who had turned into a stranger, but I had to try. My eyes darted around the room, searching for an escape, for anything that could explain what was going on. My gaze fell onto my sister's bed. She wasn't there. Relief washed over me. Maybe he wasn't a threat. Maybe he wouldn't hurt her. But then I noticed a figure in the corner, coward and trembling. It was my sister. Before I could even utter a sound, before I could piece together what was happening, he turned around. The expression on his face, twisted into a snarl, sent chills down my spine. I took a step forward, then another, each movement filled with trepidation. My dad's head snapped towards me. His eyes narrowed. With each movement, the letter opener danced in his hand, taunting, threatening. I instinctively took a step back, my mind racing, searching for a way out, for a solution, but there was none. We were trapped in a nightmare, and the nightmare was coming for us. The letter opener glinted menacingly in his hand, casting dancing shadows on the wall behind him. I felt a surge of protectiveness for my sister, an instinctual need to shield her from the danger that loomed over us. But what could I do? How could I protect her from someone who was clearly not himself? Someone who seemed possessed by an unknown force. His eyes, usually warm and full of life, were now cold and distant, like those of a predator ready to strike. My breath caught in my throat. I couldn't scream, couldn't run. I was frozen in place, trapped by the chilling tableau before me. My sister whimpered softly, her eyes wide with terror. I wanted to comfort her, to tell her everything would be all right, but the lie felt heavy on my tongue. I passed my older brother's room, his door wide open. No one was inside. Everything was not all right. This was not a nightmare. This was our reality. I continued down the hallway, adrenaline pumping through my veins. Each step echoed loudly in the silence of our home. I'd been scrubbing the soles of my feet for at least 5 minutes, trying to remove every speck of dirt when I heard my phone vibrate. I dried my hands with a paper towel and ran downstairs. As I rounded the corner into the hallway, I saw my mom sitting on the couch. She looked fine, and then I stopped in my tracks. The master bedroom door, the one we all shared, was slightly ajar, revealing the dark silhouette of our parents' bed. Without thinking twice, I burst into the room. The sight that greeted me was so bizarre that I froze in shock. My dad was standing by the window with his back to me. In that split second, a million questions exploded in my mind. What was he doing with that letter opener? Was he hurt? He was shirtless, exposing the muscular definition of his broad shoulders and the taut lines of his arms. But it wasn't his physique that had me stunned. It was what he was holding in his hand. A silver letter opener glistened in his palm, catching the moonlight streaming through the window and amplifying its ominous glow. I stared at him, bewildered. But this wasn't the dad I knew. This wasn't my father. She was wearing the same clothes she had on earlier, her hair disheveled, her face ashen and streaked with tears. "Stay away from her," I shouted, my voice echoing in the vast expanse of our room. My heart pounded against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the silence of the room. Then my dad made a move. He took a step towards me, then another. I wrapped my arm around my sister's shoulder, pulling her close in an attempt to shield her with my body, with my fear. He lowered the letter opener, the tension in his shoulders visibly easing. And in that instant, hope, fragile and tenuous, bloomed in my chest. He looked up at me then, and for a moment, I saw a glimmer of the man I knew. A man who doted on his children, who never raised his voice, who was the embodiment of strength and kindness. Terror constricted my throat, squeezing the breath from my lungs. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. My mind raced, desperate for a solution, a way out of this macabre dance of death. But there was none. He lunged. In that split second, I knew there was no escape. Disoriented, I stumbled out of bed and rushed to my sister's room. Panic clawed at my throat, squeezing the air from my lungs. The handwriting was my sister's, her flowing script stark against the white paper. It read, "I'm sorry, I couldn't protect you." As I pondered these questions, a new wave of fear crashed over me, this time mixed with a potent dose of realization. I stood up, my legs weak, my mind reeling. To be continued.